And we're live.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Coldwell Banker's very first virtual education expo. I'm Wendy Crane, and I'm the Vice President of Learning for Coldwell Banker. And I am broadcasting to all of you today live from my home office, where I'm practicing my social distancing skills, like I hope all of you are doing as well. Whether you're doing social distancing or you're a shelter in place, all I can say is we are living in a very crazy world right now. I don't know how else to describe it. It seems to me like the world is changing literally every single day and sometimes even every hour. But you know what? As the world changes, we've really got to shift and change right along with it. And that is one of the main reasons why we decided to put this series together for you, because we really want to make sure that we are arming you with the skills and the knowledge you need to persevere during these times. This is not the first time that the real estate market and our nation even has been through trying times. I think about, the crash, the real estate crash. Many of you probably were selling right along with me during that time. I actually got my real estate license at the end of 2004 in Florida, and we were hit first. We started to crash probably right around 2006. And right when we thought maybe we had seen the worst of it, we got punched in the stomach with the BP oil spill, right, all the way down the Gulf. So literally every transaction I had under contract pretty much was canceled at that point. Then we had to deal with defective drywall issues. The CFPB got their hands in the mess, and it was just I won't continue, but you get the point. However, I've been thinking a lot about those years, specifically about the agents that were selling with me, because it was incredible to watch these agents just rise up and do amazing things regardless of what was happening around them. And as I reflected on them at that time, the word that just kept playing over and over in my head was resilience. And I actually went to Google and I looked it up, and I wrote it down because it was super encouraging to me. And I think it's going to be encouraging to all of you. So I'd like to read it. Resilience is knowing how to cope with setbacks, barriers, and limited resources. Resilience is a measure of how much you want something and how much you are willing to overcome obstacles to get it. It has to do with emotional strength. And overcoming obstacles and dealing with emotional strength is something that Coldwell Banker has been doing since we were founded in 1906. That was during the San Francisco earthquakes, which was another difficult time. However, that did not stop Colbert Coldwell and Benjamin Banker from founding a real estate company that was grounded in ethics and integrity, a company that people can trust. And in keeping with those values, 114 years later, we're here today providing you this series because we want to make sure that you remain the trusted advisor helping your clients navigate through these uncharted waters. Before we begin, I want to talk to everybody kind of about who our audience is today. This has evolved a little bit, but in the spirit of 1CB, I'm really excited to say that we've got both company-owned and affiliate agents with us today. Thank you very much for being here. Beyond that, we've decided to open this up to the entire real estate nation. And I'm really glad that we did that because you know what? We are all stronger together. It's going to take all of us doing the right thing to make sure we do this. So we are so glad that you are all here, and we are going to do our best. We're going to talk about some company tools, but we're also going to talk about tools that anyone can use. We'll do our best to balance it out, but please be patient with us. You might be wondering if this is being recorded. I've actually got several requests already for it to be recorded. It is. We're certainly recording this, and we will send both the recording and the presentation probably about 2 days afterwards to all of our agents through email, and we will also post it on our blog. So for those of you that would like to see it, we'll have it public facing as well. The topic today is marketing in a virtual world, and I'd love to introduce you to our panelists. We've got with us today Jeff Branciotti, Kim Powell, and Cami Walton. Jeff is a real estate sales instructor in our California market. Kim is the National Director of Listing Concierge. She's been in the business for 17 years with Coldwell Banker for 17 years. And Cami is the Director of Field Marketing. She's been in the business for 7 years. She's been with Coldwell Banker for 5. But I want to actually, oh, there they are, sorry. I want to talk to you a little bit about you because this actual content was all done by all of you. Casey Ricker, who is the Vice President of Marketing for the studio, went to social media last weekend. And she asked all of you, what are you doing to market in a virtual world? And let me just say, Coldwell Banker agents came out in droves and they started sharing their best practices. And it was really fun to watch. I know a lot of us were watching over the weekend as we saw all of the tips coming in. You guys are amazing. We took all of that information and what we did was create a top 10 list. So this session is actually called the top 10 tips for marketing in a virtual world. And it comes to you from the studio and learning. I am going to dive right into tip number 10, which comes to us from Celine Toth. Celine is leveraging virtual farming, and Celine is from CB Chicora Advantage in Myrtle Beach, North Carolina. And I can't help, I got to do a shout out to CB Chicora Advantage in Myrtle Beach because they invited me to their kickoff meeting this January, and I got to teach. And what a fun group of managers, brokers, agents. I had a blast. So anyways, thank you, Celine, for giving us this tip. And thank you, CB Chicora Advantage. Celine is using community online forums to connect with her virtual farm. She's also using tools like Yak Social. And she said she's getting about 10 leads a day, cost her about $400 a month. But one of the tips that Celine had for us was that she uses both real estate and value added. So of course, when you're dealing with a farm, it doesn't always have to be about real estate. It can be about anything that they would find valuable. Celine's convinced that this has really been a huge benefit for her business. Now you can see that on this slide, we've got tips, and on most of them we'll have tips, and we've leveraged some of our tools. Social Ad Engine, Prospect Squared, and Clients for Life are all great tools that you can use for virtual farming. And I am going to ask Jeff Franchatti to speak a little bit to those since he is our resident real estate sales instructor. Jeff, how can our agents use those tools to help with their virtual farming?
Absolutely. Thank you, Wendy, for the question. And again, thank you for everyone taking the time to join us here today. When it comes to virtual farming and leveraging the power it has, it's really nothing brand new, but it is our new now, right? The ability for us to adapt, adjust, and overcome is going to be huge for our success as trusted advisors. Case in point, the very unfortunate, unforeseen situation that we're currently in has really thrust us into a new or really a different way to reach our clients, communities, and farms. Our biggest plus when it came to virtual farming previously to what's going on right now is door knocking was essentially removed from the equation. We had these groups and communities that we knew specific information to reach out to them with. As it is now, door knocking has essentially been removed completely. It's no longer something that we can do, but we now have a better scope of what our clients are looking for, right? They're looking for very important and supportive information to our current situation. So we know what types of messaging or what types of information to get them. But it's not just going to come in the form of real estate information. It's going to come in the form of you, your brand, your personality, your bond with your farms, and your professionalism. And that's why a lot of our tools really help us out a lot. Tools like Prospect Square, Social Ad Engine, Clients for Life where it's available, and CBX Locator, they really take a lot of the legwork out for us. For example, Clients for Life gives us 12 warm points of contact to reach out to our communities and to our farms throughout the year, whereas Prospect Square gives us great market reports, updated analytics as well too. So those two coupled together along with our CBX Locator tool, they really help us have a deep impact to those communities. But I think our biggest hurdle right now is to change gears. We really need to look at the information that we're providing our communities with and give them the value that they're looking for. And again, they're looking for us to do that. And that's why these tools are so important, not only for social media, but also the plug and play that they offer us in terms of reaching out to our communities and giving them that information. I like to think of it like a Ferrari that we've had parked in our driveway for so long. And once in a while, we'll take it out and we'll drive it, right? But now we're being forced to drive that Ferrari every day and really open it up. And when it comes to virtual farming and utilizing social media and these tools, I think we're going to see a lot of amazing results and a lot of success by driving that technology.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jeff. And I just want to, for our Coldwell Banker agents out there, the next Social Ad Engine webinar is Wednesday, April 15th at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. We do have a link to that in our resources. So I would certainly advise all of you to jump online and take advantage of that Social Ad Engine webinar. So moving on to tip number 9, that comes to us from Jonathan Myers of Coldwell Banker Seacoast in Jacksonville, North Carolina. And he is using video chat chat for showings. And Jonathan has some really great advice for all of us. Basically, what he's saying is we should tell the story of the house, right? I think make it emotional, tell that story of the house. And he says to really make sure that you're engaging that client in back and forth conversation so there's not that awkward pause. I know that I've been using video chat for years. I live in Florida. My family lives in Ohio. My sister lives in Oregon. And I love using video chat on a Friday. I get a glass of wine. I can have, wine with my sister. But I'm guessing if we're going to be using video chat for showings, we're going to need to do things a little bit differently. So I'm going to ask Kim, can you provide our group with a couple of best practices if they want to use video chat for showings?
I definitely can, Wendy, and hi to everybody, by the way. But before I get into this, I actually want to share with everybody the coolest story. So Melody Pivito in our Houston market actually had a success story when it comes to video chats and showing. So I want to share that with everybody. She was working with a young family out of the area. They had 3 young kids with a 4th on the way, and it was just really hard for them to get there in person to see these homes. So along with Melody, they agreed that they would see the homes through a combination of video, FaceTime, and photos, and they ended up making an offer on one of these homes. The offer got accepted. Funny enough, there was a second offer on the home that was sight unseen as well. Melody's clients ended up, like I said, winning the offer, and Melody actually mentioned that she worked really closely with the listing agent on this as well. The listing agent had just put together a YouTube video for that property, which Melody showed to her clients. Her client said that with all the videos that they had seen, and then that YouTube video was really kind of like the icing on the cake, they felt even more confident making that offer. So it was a really great story that I wanted to share with all of you. And the point that Melody made to us was that her and the listing agent really worked together to make this happen. And that's what all of us really needs to be doing right now. And you mentioned that earlier too in your opening. So I just wanted to reiterate that we all really need to band together right now to help our transactions keep going and help our clients as well. But if you are interested in doing a video chat for your showings and you haven't done so already, that's a little different than getting together with your family for a happy hour online. You definitely want to have a plan in place. So I call it the 2 Ps. You want to have a plan and you want to practice. So first thing for your planning, you really want to make a list of the features of the home and make sure that you're going to hit upon all those. You also want to make sure, like Jonathan says on the screen, that you're telling a story of the home. After you've got your plan in place and you know what you're going to cover, then you want to start practicing. That old saying our parents told us for years, practice makes perfect, definitely applies here. And a lot of people can be uncomfortable being on video. So that's why practice is even more important. And I would recommend, asking a colleague, asking a friend, a family member, if they'll get on the phone with you as you go through and you practice. If that's not a possibility, or even better yet, you can even record yourself doing a video as you're doing one of these so that you can play it back later and really critique yourself. We're all our own worst critics, right? So you might be the best judge, but really you'll be able to really evaluate yourself and see the areas you hit and did well in, and then the areas that you might need to improve. So if you practice, if you plan it and if you practice, you're going to be well on your way to being successful at this and really coming across as the polished professional that you are.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kim. And thank you, Melody. That is an awesome story. I saw that too. And I loved how she said we work together as agents, because super inspiring. I'm going to move to 8. I love number 8. Tip number 8 comes to us from Heather Herr of Team Herr. She's from Coldwell Banker Realty in Ohio. So I'm going to throw out an OH to Heather and all my people in Ohio. Sorry, guys. But it kind of works with this one because her tip was to do something new, have fun with something new. And I think we could all use some fun right now. And so she's got a great list of apps on her list here. She's been using TikTok, which I will admit I have not jumped into TikTok yet. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to confess that most of these apps are apps that I have not even started using yet. So I need to get doing something new. And so I want to actually ask Cami, because the list is extensive. Again, I'm feeling a little bit apprehensive about these things. I'm guessing maybe people are too. So Cami, what advice do you have if we've got some agents that are a little bit nervous about trying something new?
Sure. So, Wendy, I work with agents in Utah, California, and Hawaii, and no matter what market they are in, I feel like there's some common threads of challenges that come up for agents learning new tools and new apps and new systems. And typically it ends up being that most agents don't have the time to really invest to become an expert in something. So even if they have kind of gotten involved in Facebook or Instagram or maybe even with video, they haven't had the time to really become that marketing guru with that particular piece of their marketing strategy. So because we have a little bit more time on our hands now, this is a great opportunity to take to learn how to leverage some of these platforms you're currently using more strongly to your advantage to help build your business. So what I would recommend for those who are using Facebook, maybe a business page, and are either actively creating content to post online in those spaces or are trying to become more active in those spaces, things like Facebook Live can be a lot of fun. You can totally leverage that new capability Facebook has integrated into its platform to your advantage to create engagement, and the longevity of how long you can retain someone's attention span through a Facebook Live is a lot longer than a typical video is, and we're just scrolling through our news feed. Instagram likewise has Instagram stories. They show up right at the top of your feed. You can't miss them. Everybody wants to see what's up there and what people are doing. It's a great thing to start investing more time in. If you're looking at maybe tapping into some of the younger millennial market, Snapchat could be a place to go and spend some time, particularly if you've already mastered Instagram and Facebook. And I know we haven't talked a lot as an industry about Snapchat at this point because it's one of those newer things and many of us are still just becoming acquainted and comfortable with using Facebook, but it might be a good opportunity for you right now to jump on Snapchat, see what it's all about, because you are going to have your potential buyers in the upcoming market that are leveraging that platform, because now all of our grandmothers and great grandmothers in some cases are on Facebook and moving to Instagram when they realize we're not on Facebook as much these days. And so there's opportunity there to tap into a market that maybe has tuned out a little bit on Facebook or even Instagram at this point. If you're leveraging video, which we're going to talk about heavily here today, and it's one of those things that I feel like I've been telling agents, whether they're super seasoned agents or brand new agents, for like the last 5 years, you've got to get on video. Video's where it's at. Get ahead of the game, start using video. And the ones that have done that over the last few years, I think are in a really good place when it comes to feeling comfortable leveraging video and the virtual opportunities we have out there right now. But not everybody jumped on the bandwagon as early on as they should have and are realizing now is the time. So if you are looking for ways to create more engagement with your audience, and we have this super captive audience right now of everybody online who's looking for really cool things to spend their time watching and enjoying, BombBomb could be a really great way to go. And the reason I like BombBomb is because it eliminates that extra click-through. In most email formats where you can incorporate video, you have to ask the user to click on that video and it bounces them off to a separate screen to watch that video. And oftentimes we get sucked into the next 35 videos that come up and play after that video ends, and we never end up getting back to the original content you would hope that your consumer would be looking at. And so with BombBomb, it actually plays the video right there inside the embedded email. Nobody leaves, the video stops once it's done, and you can continue getting the content that you're looking for. So it is a great tool and service to look into leveraging at this time.
Awesome. That's a great job, Cami. I'm just wondering, is Jeff, have you tried anything new? You've been stuck at home. What have you tried new?
Admittingly, I'll say that there are some TikTok videos that probably exist with me in them now, but they're probably not going to see the light of day. So no, I'm going to keep my professionalism intact, and no, we're not going to see those.
What about you, Kim? What are you doing that's new?
Oh, Jeff, I'm going to have to check those out now. You shouldn't have told me that. You know what? I am guilty. I haven't actually delved into any of these yet. I have a couple on my list, but I have to tell you that Coldwell Banker has been keeping me awfully busy. Well, I've been at home, and I've got my 3 kids at home and my husband working at home, which he never does. So I am a full-time employee. I'm a full-time mommy right now, a chef, and a cleaner. So once I master doing all those, I will dig into some of these things.
Awesome.
You're also HR. Don't forget your HR too. So
we're all wearing a lot of hats today. I'm going to take one last opportunity to plug Learning right now, because the Learning team has recently just switched to a new online learning platform. And I think a lot of people are using this now, and they're seeing how much fun Zoom is. So Zoom is our new learning platform. It's a great online video platform, and it offers really awesome collaboration. So we just posted 10 new classes. If you're on the affiliate side, you can go to your brand brand ambassador, they've got the calendar. You can use CBU to access the calendar. If you're on the company-owned side, you'll go to Sales Pro. All of our classes are listed there as well. And I would just encourage all of you, get online, start learning. There's never been a better time to start learning. So we look forward to seeing you in class. And that takes us to tip number 7, which we heard a little bit about earlier, but we'll dive a little bit deeper into how to leverage Facebook Live. And this tip comes to us from Dave Metton, who is a regional education manager for Coldwell Banker Realty. Jeff, you actually did a tutorial. It's actually linked at the bottom of this screen. So I'm going to let you talk to our group about how you can use Facebook Live to do like a virtual open house.
Absolutely. Well, just looking at the numbers for a second, there's actually 1.69 billion users on Facebook, and not to mention its counterpart, which is Instagram, which was slated going into this year to reach over 1 billion users, which I'm sure by now is blown past that projection. But there's a huge audience out there, right? And jumping back into Facebook Live, their video count climbed to 2 billion viewers last year, right? Facebook Live videos get 6 times as many interactions as their static videos do. And they also get 10 times the amount of comments. And more than likely, a lot of the Facebook Live viewers, they're 30% more likely to watch the next video or attend the next event. And I mean, that's huge. There's a huge audience that's waiting to gather that information. I was actually looking at a survey by BuzzSumo, and they looked at about, I think it was 1 million videos, and they said that viewership had actually increased up to 15 minutes on Facebook Live. So where we used to talk about keep your videos nice and short, those are going to be your static videos, but when you're going live, people tend to want to watch those a lot longer, right? After 15 minutes, you'll see a drop off. And it's a great way to use both of those as a tool, right? You've got your trailer to your upcoming feature film, which is going to be your static videos, nice and short. And then you've got your feature film, which is going to be your live broadcast. And as Cami was saying, which is a great point, backing up to a couple slides, a lot of our clients want agents who are going to use video. As a matter of fact, a poll was taken that's about 73% of clients want to engage with an agent who are utilizing video. So it's at the top of their list. Facebook Live is very easy to get into, setting up an event and working it from your phone. You don't have to have a professional camera crew, but I would engage into it. You're already using Facebook, so just switch over to the business side and start engaging in that.
Awesome. And you know what? This weekend, while I was online, I actually attended a virtual open house. And I'm going to put a shout out to Tony Didler from Coldwell Banker Real Estate Group, because I was on your virtual open house this weekend on Facebook, and it was totally awesome. So for those of you that are holding virtual open houses, I will attend your virtual open house. I'm not really a buyer right now, but I'll still attend your virtual open house. I think that's great. I'm going to move on to tip number 6. Tip number 6 comes to us from Kate Rossi, who's an executive vice president for Coldwell Banker Realty. And Kate's tip is to stand apart early. Now, Kate, for those of us that know her and love her dearly, we love you, Kate. You're amazing. She's a leader who is into her agents. She's out in the field. She's talking to agents, and she's probably dying right now. As a matter of fact, I saw her try something new this week. She posted a video on Facebook that was awesome, Kate. But she can't get with the agents. But as you can see on this slide, that doesn't stop the agents from going to Kate. And we have an amazing story from Georgie Birkinshaw with Coldwell Banker Realty in Annapolis. So you can kind of see this was at the very end of February when all this craziness was starting, and Georgie had an opportunity for a $5 million listing. And I was actually on a call when Kate shared this story. So don't get mad at me, Kate. I'm gonna imitate you. You can almost hear Kate. She had a $5 million listing. She's text Kate to say, should I take this? I'm a little bit afraid of the market. And Kate's like, kid, take that listing. As you can see, she says, never wait. So of course, Georgie listened to her and took the listing, and you can watch the trail here on the screen. She got that thing under contract, and it is already closed. It closed in 12 days. It's a cash offer, a $5 million listing. Kate's never wrong. So we so appreciate Kate for her tip. We appreciate Georgie for sharing with us her information, allowing us to share it with all of you. But we've got, standing apart is going to be in that marketing. And one of the things Kate told us was sellers are not, what she's hearing from the field, that sellers are not talking to multiple agents right now because they don't want to have multiple people in their house. So you've got an opportunity, even if you're not in their house, to stand stand out as that first agent, and that's going to be by using a really comprehensive marketing plan and strategy. So I want to ask Cami first, because Coldwell Banker has a lot of marketing tools that can set us apart from the competition. Cami, what can you share with our group in reference to this?
Yeah, so interestingly enough, I was talking last week with Tim Allen, who's the #2 agent in the entire country, and he was letting me know his thoughts on sheltering in place and what's happening in his market. And he really came up with some good points. And he said that, if you're a brand new agent, now is the time to really structure your business and get it together, because this is not going to last forever. We're going to go back to business as normal. And if you haven't taken the time to properly set up your business, you're wasting time. And as a super seasoned agent like Tim, he also said, this is the time for agents like myself and that are so seasoned to be taking market share. And so he's investing a lot of his time right now on education, learning how to be stronger in the digital space than he's ever been before. And we have so many things, like you said, Wendy, that can help do that. And I think it starts even back before you get to a listing presentation or appointment. Think about things like setting up your infrastructure for your drip campaigns, something that is going to be able to tap into your contact list on a monthly or bi-weekly basis for the next year. Set it up now, because when the time comes and the market gets really busy again, you're not going to have time to do it. I hear it over and over. I just don't have time to do this, even though I'd love to take advantage of that. So In Touch through Powered by Market Leader is a great opportunity for our Coldwell Banker agents to leverage and to get those drip campaigns up and running. Our Realty agents in some markets have Clients for Life available, and that is a great additional monthly touch that we automate on behalf of the agent. It's lifestyle related, fun giveaways, activity guides, charity activities that your clients can participate in, and other events. That's a great opportunity if you are in one of those markets where you have that. One of my personal favorites is Moxie Present. Moxie Present is currently only available to our Realty agents, but we expect that it is going to be available to all of our affiliate agents by the end of this year. So that's really exciting. And one of the things I think Moxie is best known for is the ability to have a digital and living CMA created for clients. But the things that I think it's not so known for are the fact that we have an outstanding buyer presentation in there. We have a pre-listing presentation. You can create a digital or virtual open house presentation there. You can also create just a branding presentation. If you don't have a listing right now to go out and market, you can be marketing yourself at all times. You are your own business. You are your brand. You need to own it. And when you don't have a listing to market, you should be marketing yourself. Moxie incorporates video into it, so you can definitely leverage some of those videos that you're building, whether they're organic or their stage, and put those into your presentation and position yourself as that go-to marketing expert. We also have CBX, which is available to every Coldwell Banker agent, and I think of that as like the secret weapon of any agent going into a listing appointment. This thing is so powerful. It's full of mining big data so that you can get really, really granular on how you're able to speak to a marketing strategy, either to your seller or just for your own knowledge of what you're going to do to market a property. You're going to get things like where your most likely buyer is going to come from, what types of media do they intake, what times of day do they like to take that media in, where are they spending their time online, so you know where to target them, keywords that are going to speak to their personas, things that you're going to be able to leverage in your marketing descriptions that are going to pull up on a Google search that they're doing. It's super duper powerful. But one of the things I find that every agent I work with struggles with is how to interpret that data and to communicate it in a way that makes sense to a seller. And a lot of agents tend to back down on their most valuable pieces of information because they're just not sure what the talking points should be and how to make that efficiently clear to a seller. And so I would use this time to get really familiar in how you're going to verbalize those things. We have marketing support across the company who can help walk you through how to interpret that data and present it effectively to a client through a virtual means or when you get to sit with them in person. But you can also incorporate that buyer profile into Moxie Present if you're an agent who has capability currently to use Moxie. The other things that I want to call out are exclusive look. We have brokerage exclusives that are giving pre-market exposure to all of our CV network, which is great. The listings stay live for 60 days on there. The digest is sent daily to all of our agents. And then we have sneak peek for those of you that want to do a coming soon and promote a new listing 24 hours in advance ahead of going out to all of the MLS crowd. So that again goes out daily, some things to take advantage of, particularly if you're dealing with clients that are like wanting to do off-market listings, which is crazy. You should talk them off the ledge on that right now, but we have the means to actually get the word out ahead of the game so that you can actually start your marketing in advance.
Wow, that was awesome, Cami. But I cannot leave this slide until we talk to Kim because she's the National Director for Listing Concierge. And I know that Listing Concierge can help you stand apart. So just speak a little bit to that for us, Kim.
Absolutely. And I have to tell everybody, I actually came to Coldwell Banker 17 years ago after getting my real estate license. This was back in 2003. I actually interviewed and met with Noreen Niehaus, who's one of our fabulous managers in Northern California. She's still here to this day. And after talking to her and doing a little soul searching, I really felt I was more of a marketing gal at heart versus a salesperson. But I have been tempted so many times over the years to go into sales because of all of the great tools Coldwell Banker offers. And it's one of the things I love about working at the company. And my very favorite tool is Listing Concierge. That's my team. Listing Concierge is really meant to be a listing tool. So the whole goal of the program is to help you prove your value, to win the listing, and then to get more listings as well. So a few of the things I wanted to mention is, first of all, this Listing Concierge is right now available only to Coldwell Banker Realty agents. It will be available to all Coldwell Banker agents in the future, and that's something we're working on. But what Listing Concierge really is this beautiful marriage of incredible technology backed by real human service. We're really big on the service part. We know that real estate is a profession all about relationships, and it's really our team's goal to build relationships with the agents we service. So the way it works is we actually offer 3 different packages within Listing Concierge, and regardless of the package that's ordered, it features a combination of the following: professional photography, printed materials. We also have social media and online advertising included. We've got digital advertising. We also have an update that we send out weekly to the real estate community, letting them know about the new listings that have come on the market. We also offer a professionally produced YouTube video with narration. And then in many of our markets, we actually have our own Coldwell Banker TV show in which we air the listings, as well as print advertising. So as you can see, it provides a really robust and powerful punch of marketing for our agents who use it. The way it works is that our agents go online to our incredible platform, they place an order. Once that order comes in, it's assigned to a listing concierge coordinator. And that listing concierge coordinator really puts together a real thoughtful campaign for the agent. They go through the photos and they look and see, okay, which photos are going to be best. They also look at the marketing copy and they polish it up. You know, if there's some spelling errors or grammar things in there, all that stuff is polished up by our team. So once we get all those materials together, we release them back to the agent, and then we work together through the platform on finalizing everything. And I want to share a couple powerful stats about the program right now, because I think everybody needs to know. We have found that agents who use the program are more productive. We actually see listings sell closer to list price, and we even see a higher sales price for those properties that use the program. Our team has already handled over 10,000 orders this year, so we've been rocking and rolling. And if there's any Coldwell Banker Realty agents who haven't used the program but are interested, like we've been saying all along during this meeting, this is a great time to try something new. Our team is fully working right now. We're all working from home right now to keep things up and running. And so please don't be shy. Place an order. Lean on us right now. We want to be here for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kim. Well, we have reached our halfway point, so I am going to ask Des, our producer who has been watching the chat, if there are any questions that have popped up for any of the panel members.
We have tons of questions. I'm not sure we'll get through them, but everybody loves your energy and Jeff's energy and Kim and Cami. Let's see. When doing a video chat, is it best to use portrait or landscape mode?
You know, I'll chime in on this one. So it really depends. You know, obviously landscape, you're going to get a little bit more on either side, so it's a little bit more cinematic. But if you're simply just transferring information, you want to have that connection and maybe just show a few quick examples or anything that you're talking about. It's okay to hold your phone up in portrait mode.
Anybody else got any advice for that one, or can we grab another question? Let's move on since we have so many.
With video showings, has anyone seen success in both high and low home sale price points?
You know, I don't know that I've seen either one, and we don't know what Melody did, what the price point of hers was, but I would say that it's going to work for anything. I mean, especially right now, in our times right now, I think people are just going to realize, regardless of the price of the home, we've got restrictions. So I would not let that hold you up. We're talking about trying something new, regardless of the price of the home. If you've got an interested buyer, get out there, use your phone, and show them what they can get.
Great.
We can take maybe another one or two if you want to find them. And we're going to take questions again at the end, but
here we go. I wasn't sure if we could take pictures or video of homes we are showing because of privacy issues. Do we get permission from sellers first and have that in writing?
That's kind of a legal issue, but I think all of our listing presentations cover, not our listing presentations, our contracts, right? Cover whether we can take pictures, and everyone takes pictures, professional pictures of a listing. So I would, because it's a legal question, I would say to go to your broker, but I can't imagine, it's always better to be safe. If there's not something in there, get a disclosure to sign it. And I would say full disclosure all the time with sellers. Tell them whatever you're doing, make sure they're okay with it, especially now, right? Getting inside someone's house, even if you're allowed to do that. But check your actual agreement that your company has, and then talk to your broker.
Wendy, yeah, I wanted to chime in and say I've been getting a lot of questions about photography since Listing Concierge is nationwide, and we have 60 photographers we work with across the country, and it's really, really dependent on the area you live in. So you should definitely check with your manager and your local legal team, because there's not one size fits all for this. It's really dependent on the shelters in place, and some of them are allowing for real estate activities to still carry on, some aren't. So you should really check in with your manager about that.
Awesome,
and
thank you.
I'd add one other thing to that. Sorry, I want to add one other thing to that. If you're in a home where there's like a lot of valuable things, think like art or sculptures, things like that, be really careful how you're positioning or showing those things on any kind of camera, because just as conscious as we are about our health right now, I think we need to be just as conscious of the safety of where we're putting our videos and what we're showcasing of a seller's home too, because we don't want to create any unnecessary security issues for our sellers.
That is really great advice, Cami. Let's take one more question just for the sake of time so that we can get through the rest of our tips. And then we'll take questions again at the very end.
Is video chat just generally used term, or is there a specific program? And if so, I'm assuming that there's an app available.
Who wants to take it?
Video chat, I mean, it's something that's kind of embedded in all of our mobile devices, right? So we have that ability to do FaceTime, or if you're utilizing another mobile device, whatever they happen to call it. So no specific apps are going to be necessarily required. I think it's going to be something that's a part of all of our mobile devices right now. So you should have access to that from what I see.
And WhatsApp is another one, right? I think FaceTime is more of an iPhone thing. WhatsApp you can use, but there's Google Hangouts. I mean, there's lots of them. All right, awesome. Thank you so much for the questions. I'm going to go ahead and jump back into the presentation. Let's get to tip number 5, which is actually from our very own Kim Powell, and it is using 3D in virtual. So Kim, talk to us about the benefits of using 3D in virtual.
Yeah, we've already been talking a little bit about this all along, but these things are really popular right now. I was actually on Facebook last night, and it was crazy perfect timing, but I saw a couple posts from a couple of our agents. Christoph Chu in Beverly Hills, and then Laura Levy in our Colorado markets were both saying, hey, look at my videos. I've been doing this all along. Christoph actually shared an example of a video tour he did himself, and then a professional one he had done, and he was asking people on Facebook which one they liked better. And then Laura actually shared on Facebook some Matterports that she's been doing, and actually said, I've been doing these all along. And the conversation was more really about how these things are really essential right now. But they were saying, hey, we've been doing this all along. So I want to give a shout out and props to them for doing that. But right now, obviously, things like video, Matterports, are really important because people can't be physically present there to, in most cases, see the home. So if we can rely on these things more, that's going to help everybody out. Again, this is a great time to try these things. If this is something you've been wanting to get your hands dirty with, but you haven't, now's the time to do it. We have so many different photography vendors throughout the country, just in general, that service our industry, and many of them are actually offering discounts on things like Matterports, virtual tours, and floor plans right now to help our industry out. If you are using Listing Concierge, we've actually put together a list of all of our different vendors throughout the country and have noted which ones are offering discounts on these services right now. There's a link that you can see right here on the presentation screen, and we're going to be sending that out to everybody afterwards. But this is the time to take advantage of these types of things.
Awesome. This next one kind of goes right in hand. Tip number 4 is from Celine again with CB Chikora Advantage, Celine Toth, and she's saying to take flight. So we're talking about aerial photography here. So Jeff, what can agents do creatively to use aerial photography?
Well, aerial photography is really popular. In fact, homes that include aerial photos, they sell 68% faster than homes who do standard, and about 83% of sellers actually prefer an agent who will utilize drone footage or taking that picture. But really, it tells the tale of your home. It's not just the block it sits on, but it's the neighborhood. So you want to make sure that you're taking photos at the right time, the golden hour, whether it's the morning or the evening. But again, it's just a great complement to what you're already offering in a lot of your services. And some of this can be found in some of our listing concierge packages as well, too.
Awesome. I'm going to move to tip number 3, which comes to us from Heather Hur again in my favorite Ohio, not my favorite, but love my Ohio peeps. She is talking about lights, camera, action. And what we mean by that is using a combination of both staged videos, which we kind of have been talking about, and organic videos. So I kind of want to spend some time talking about what's better? Should we have organic? Should we have stage? Heather thinks we should use both. She's using both for her campaigns and her social media. And I know that Listing Concierge has some of this. So Kim, how can Listing Concierge help in this?
Yeah, so through Listing Concierge, no matter what package you order, you get a professionally produced video slideshow actually, and that comes with narration. This video is actually posted to YouTube automatically, so our agents don't have to do anything. And obviously it's, they're going to be getting a lot of hits on our Coldwell Banker YouTube pages when these are posted. In addition to that, as I mentioned earlier, we have several different markets that have a Coldwell Banker TV show. And so these videos are actually shown on that TV show, which is providing a lot of great exposure for these listings.
Cami, what kind of planning is involved in something like this if I did want to do, something myself?
So definitely thinking about keeping it short and sweet. I think one of the things that agents tend to think about when they think about videos, it has to be this super long, drawn out thing where they're in front of the camera. Many of our agents, and us included, are not always super comfortable and confident in front of the camera. So just remember, keep it short and sweet. We have an 8-second attention span. So keeping somebody's attention for too long is just not going to happen, particularly if you're standing in front of the camera. Our attention span becomes less and less. Practice what you're going to say in advance. Don't just get up there and try to wing it. Most of us are not super comfortable talking off of the cuff. So you really need to think through your content, how you're going to tell your story, and make sure you know what your talking points around that story are going to be. For many of these, I would say use portrait mode because you want to fill out the entire space of a YouTube video. Make sure you're also, by the way, uploading those videos from your camera to your YouTube channel, If you don't have a YouTube channel and you have a Gmail account, you actually do have YouTube channel set up. You just don't know it yet. So go ahead and go to YouTube, log in with your Gmail account, and voila, you will have a YouTube channel instantly. But you need to download that YouTube app to your phone, so it makes it super simple to get all of your videos from your camera roll uploaded to YouTube, and you should put everything there. Because what happens once you get it on YouTube is all magic. It's going to create links for you to share on social, links for you to embed the video into your website, links to put into an e-blast or your email signature. There's so many things you can do with that link once it's in YouTube, and you really want to continue to build your own search engine optimization in an organic way, and YouTube is the easiest way to do that because it is the world's second largest search engine behind Google because Google owns YouTube. So they give lots of preferential treatment to their own products. Go figure. And if you're not comfortable speaking off the cuff, make sure you download some app like a teleprompter app to your phone. This is really great because you can actually type out your script and what you want to say. And then as you're holding your phone up and you're doing your video, it will actually go ahead and show your script for you to read off of. So you don't have to be looking down at your notes and looking back up at all times. You can actually see what you're supposed to say and make it seem a lot more organic and less rehearsed.
Awesome.
Hey, Wendy
yeah,
and Cami, sorry, I'm so sorry. I just wanted to mention, because Cami, you reminded me that I forgot to mention this, with our Listing Concierge videos, we actually have the links, and agents should definitely feel free to share those on their websites. If they've got a single property website they're utilizing through Listing Concierge, they can post it there. If they've got other websites, they can definitely include those, and then also blast them out through social media as well. That link, we have that link, and really the sky's the limit for how you can use that and get that information out there.
We actually have a
Absolutely.
second part to this because we have got some major social media influencers and we've got some video experts in the Coldwell Banker world. And Tim Smith of the Smith Group in Coldwell Banker Realty California has done some incredible things with video. His videos often reach into the millions. He actually had one that went viral. I'm sure probably a lot of us have seen it. It's so fun. Teach Me How to Duffy. So if you are interested in looking and seeing what other people are doing, definitely we've got a link to Tim's video here and we've got some tips on this page. But I'm going to ask Jeff, like, what advice or any other best practices do you have for the agents when it comes to this before I move on?
Yeah, absolutely. So, if you go to, well, I don't know if I want to do this, but if you go to YouTube and look at my YouTube channel, you'll see a lot of videos that I've done organically, right? Tim has great videos. They're hilarious. They're very engaging, but they're very high production. And I think, I might be speaking for, out of turn, but maybe some of our agents see some of this and they're put off because they don't have that ability to go that extra. And it really isn't about that. We have the capability. As Cami was talking, we have so many apps with iPhone. We have iMovie. I do all of my production on iMovie. I have a $23 stand. I have a $60 stabilizer that I'll utilize once in a while. So just throw it out there, engage, have some fun with it. This is your time and you get to see it before it goes out. So, right, it's not a live cut. Just throw a little bit of personality in there. Tell a little bit of a story. If you need help, like we were talking about last time, use MTV Cribs videos. That's a great way to walk through a home and tell the story of a property. And you can, use some of that to put together your presentation. But no, you can absolutely do it grassroots. You don't need to have a big production budget.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So Tim Smith is not our only Coldwell Banker media influencer. Our second tip, or tip number 2, is actually to follow the leader. Get inspired by looking at their channels. We've got links to a lot of our leaders who are social media influencers. So make sure that you're looking for this presentation when you get it so you can spend some time. And I will say this, of course, this is my being a teacher on the learning side. Block your calendars today. Even though we're stuck at home, that doesn't mean that we're going to be super productive, right? Sometimes we're like, oh, I'll do it later. I'll do it later. Get into your calendars right now. Block some time to review this presentation. Block some time to look at these other social media sites. Block some time to take some classes. You need to get into a routine, use your calendars, but get inspired because we've got some amazing stuff. Our agents are truly amazing. So that takes me down to slide number 1, or tip number 1, which is my personal favorite. And that comes to us from the studio, and that is to spread kindness. Each and every one of us has a choice every day on how we respond to what is happening in our world. And I hope that all of you will join us in choosing to spread kindness. We are seeing some amazing things across companies, and this has been happening for weeks now, but I just want to point out one that really touched my heart over this weekend, and it came from one of our brand ambassadors, Lisa Overman. So thank you so much, Lisa, for posting. This weekend, Steve Keefe and Jamie Keefe at CB Skyridge in California turned their office into a drive-through food pantry overnight with proper social distancing guidelines. During a time when grocery shelves are empty and entire states are being shut down, there will always be amazing people who think on their feet and support the community as a whole. So thank you so much to CB Skyridge. Thank you for Lisa for sharing that with us. I think it's amazing. I know we're all seeing all kinds of amazing things. One tip that I want to share with you all, and Casey gave this to me, Nextdoor. If you haven't tapped into the Nextdoor site, that is an 80% month-over-month increase in users. So your neighbors, let's be a good neighbor, right? Let's spread kindness. They're on there. They're saying what they need. So tap into Nextdoor. I'm interested to hear what Jeff, Cami, and Kim are seeing out there with people that are spreading kindness, because I know you have to be seeing some stuff. I don't care who goes first. Jeff, what do you got?
Examples. I mean, there's so many examples, but I think the thing to remember is we are in a customer service business. From the amazing service that our listing concierge team and Kim offer to our agents, which enables them to offer service to their clients, it's huge. But when we think about it, it's customer service. And it's not just about the business or selling. It's really about the effect that you can have on somebody's day. You could be the difference maker between somebody having a great rest of the day or a turn of the coin or not. So taking time to just give a little bit of tenderness, give a little bit of care, and especially now we need a lot of that. You could be the difference maker, and those bonds are huge. Whether they're a client that you're going to get an immediate result from, or they're going to advocate for you, this is the time now to really reach out and to reach out with goodwill. So that's all I got to say about that.
Awesome. How about you, Kim? What do you have to? What are you seeing out there?
Yeah, so I wanted to actually talk about a few agents who I've seen incredible things from. First of all, Dan DeBaca, who's one of our Colorado agents, actually put on Facebook, I think it was last week, that he would be willing to do food runs, make drop-offs for people who couldn't go out right now. And then Janine Rosa and Cindy Kirsch, who are just two of the best people in the world. They're agents. They're an agent team in our Sacramento, Northern California market, actually did a drive over the weekend to collect masks for their local hospitals, and they dropped them off this week. And if people are wondering what can they do to connect, it can be really simple. You don't have to necessarily leave your home to do something. So even just posting maybe a quote of inspiration every day on your social media channels, a happy moment from your day. My neighbor across the street, who's a teacher and he's home right now, actually posted the other day, 5 things that he was grateful for that day. I think you can also maybe put together a list of local restaurants in your community that are still open for business and offering takeout services, so you can encourage support of them. Even maybe reach out to past clients, and it doesn't necessarily have to be about business. It's just about being a friend and a good person and being an ear to them. We actually did something really cool yesterday during our weekly listing concierge team meeting, and we took, after taking care of a few housekeeping items, we actually paired everybody up with another person on the team, and we had them share something special or something that they appreciated about that person. And I can't tell you what an uplifting thing this was for our team. Many people are feeling anxious right now, and I think we need to think of each other as people and not necessarily as coworkers. And I had people today reach out to me and say how uplifted and how happy that made them afterwards. It was just incredible and moving. So I would encourage you to do that. I know many offices right now, obviously they can't meet in person, so they're doing virtual meetings. This is something you can do with your office in a virtual meeting. Heck, you can even do this with your family. How often do we tell the people we love what we appreciate about them? My big thing is just be the light for people to remember right now.
That is so awesome. So I feel like maybe there's a trend popping up here and we should jump on board, but maybe we already have. Cami, this is from Field Marketing. What's going on with you guys on spreading kindness?
Yeah, so it sure as everybody's seen, your timelines for the last few weeks have really been inundated with just negative news, things that are not super positive, scary in some cases. And we decided that as a company, we really wanted to change the culture of what we're seeing on social media. And we have such a powerful network in order to do that. So let's take advantage of that. We started the hashtag CB Good News campaign, and we're asking that you post the hashtag CB Good News on all of the posts that you're making to social media that are spotlighting what you're doing in your community, or if you know somebody who's doing good in your community, to share that with us so that we can make sure our timelines are being flooded with all the good things. If you want to make a submission, you can go to cbgoodnews.com. That's cbgoodnews.com. And there's a form that you can go and actually fill out there. It takes just a couple of minutes to fill out. You can upload a photo, a video, post a link, and we will go ahead and make sure that that is shared with all of our Coldwell Banker networks across the country. But we want to share acts of kindness. We want to share good news articles, recent successes that you're experiencing in your marketplace. Let's make sure that we're keeping the hope alive and positivity flowing, not just for our company, but for all of our clients and neighbors as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So those are our 10 tips, and that means it's time again to take some questions. So Des, we're going to toss it back to you. What are people asking about now?
Sure. Any ideas for ways to help when you are high risk and housebound, but would still like to offer help to your clients and neighbors?
Can I answer that?
Yes, you can. Yep.
I've seen a number of our agents across the country, in Utah, in Northern California, in New England, and other places that are like sewing masks, because masks is such a shortage that we have right now. They're not having to leave their homes to do this. They're finding items around the house that they have that they can put towards this, and they're sewing masks and donating them and having somebody come and pick them up. There's obviously another great kind person who's coming to do that piece of it. But these are some really simple ways that you can just make a difference in things that we're struggling with as a country right now that really need more support than just what we might see from the public sectors.
Yeah,
go
oh, go ahead.
All of it at once.
Go for it.
Go ahead, Kim.
Okay, and I was just going to reiterate, be an ear for people. You don't have to leave your home to make a phone call or shoot an email to somebody and just check in with them. I think I told my entire team yesterday, hey, I'm here for you guys. It doesn't matter if it's about work or about life. If you need somebody to talk to, I will drop what I'm doing to talk to you. And I think if you just reach out to people and offer that, that's an incredible thing to do.
Yeah, and on top of that too, reach out with information that you know about your local area, utilizing neighborhood. If there's specific hours that, say, a grocery store is open or open for a specific, age group, make sure that you could just relay that information out, and even some of your best home recipes or whatever you decide to come up with, share a little bit of yourself too. It doesn't necessarily need to be exactly items or any of that.
Awesome. And I was going to just basically say all that stuff, so I don't need to speak. We can move to the next question if we've got another one, Des.
Yeah. How do you deal with negative comments on Facebook?
There's this really awesome tool where you can snooze people for 30 days. I highly suggest hiding that. Listen, people react to things in different ways, and that's one of the reasons why we have CB Good News. There is so much trepidation out there. Try not to take it personally. I know sometimes that's hard, but my advice is to snooze. See you later.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer of building a silver lining playbook when it comes to any given situation, and also too, those are just comments. I mean, the good's going to shine through a lot more than that. And so lead with love as much as you possibly can. Give them a virtual hug, high five, or give them a snooze.
Anybody else on that one?
Yeah, I jump in there too, and it probably depends on what the negative comment is being placed on. But typically with social media strategy, we say don't ever leave a negative comment just sitting there. The worst thing you can do is let something just lie there and not address it. It makes you look like you are not paying attention, that you don't care. And so you want to make sure that you are going ahead and responding in a way that is, like Jeff said, out of love, right? But you want to try to move the conversation off of this more public space and into a place where you can actually have a conversation that is not going to impact your reputation online. Don't engage in any arguments online. That's one of the worst things you can possibly do for yourself, because you never know who your next client is going to be, and you never want to be the one that looks really dumb in the end for arguing with somebody who decided to leverage their ego in social space and put something online that they wouldn't necessarily have the guts to say in person.
Great advice. We can take another question. We've got time.
How long should a live virtual open house be?
Jeff, that's you.
Yeah, so as we were talking about, 15 minutes is really where you want to max out. I mean, if you think about it, gosh, a 3-minute song, there's a lot of words and a lot of tunes in that. So you can cover quite a bit as long as you are, as Kim was saying, and as we've been talking about, you practice and you plan, you utilize those 2 Ps. You really hit those specific points. I wouldn't go any longer than 15 minutes. If you find yourself getting comments or questions, maybe let them know that you're going to circle back and engage with those questions, recognize that they've come through. But up to 15 minutes. And again, that's a huge chunk of time. So, keep it. I think 10 minutes is good. You can really hit all those points, but lean into some of the examples and breathe some life into it.
We've got time for a couple more, I think.
What is a good app for a teleprompter?
Ooh.
There's actually Teleprompter, the app. I would recommend that. There's quite a few. If you go in and just search Teleprompter in your app store, you're going to see a ton of them. You don't need to pay for anything. You can use a free version of whatever app it is, but it's going to really depend on which one you're most comfortable with using in terms of the interface. I use the one that's actually called Teleprompter. It was the first one that showed up in my search results on the app store, and I love it. So pick the one that works best for you and how you're going to visually be able to look through all of those things as you're going through the process.
Cami, that reminds me, one of the tips, and I don't think we mentioned it in here, if you're going to start doing stuff like that, getting a cell phone stabilizer. They're not very expensive, but they'll help with the shakiness. So if you're going to start doing that, a cell phone stabilizer. I think we have time for maybe one more question.
Can you explain more what Matterport is?
Is that Kim? I'm thinking maybe that's Kim.
Yeah, absolutely. Matterport's actually an interactive floor plan of the property. I have to tell you, I actually saw a pretty cool Matterport yesterday from one of our East Coast photography companies. He actually is experimenting right now with having a robot do the Matterport in properties, so a person doesn't have to be in the property. And so I was looking at that Matterport, but basically it allows you to interactively tour the house. It's a floor plan that's interactive and it's photo based, and you can go through just like you're walking through the home and see every room.
It is
Without being
super
there.
cool. Yeah. It is super cool. If you've never seen it, you should try to check it out. All right. Well, thank you all for the questions. I want to tell you quickly that our next Virtual Education Expo will be this coming Tuesday on March 31st. And I will be interviewing a couple of our Coldwell Banker leaders to learn how they persevered through the last market crash. I hope that you're able to join us. There will be a link in this presentation to our next meeting. And I just want to say thank you once again to our panelists, Jeff, Kim, and Cami. This was really fun. Thank you so much to the audience for asking the questions, to the production team, to the studio, to marketing, to learning, for the collaboration. I will just say I have never been more proud to wear blue than I am today.
Hey,
I'm
Wendy.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Sorry, one more
Oh,
thing,
sure.
really important. I have tons of questions of people asking where they can get the Coldwell Banker apparel.
Oh my gosh, I can't remember what the site is called.
ColdwellBankerStore.com. Go there and check it out. There's so much awesome stuff.
There really is. We love our new
ColdwellBankerStore.com.
brand. I'm glad you guys like my scarf. This is the first time I ever wore it. All right, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and sign off for the day. I am Wendy Crane, and I'm encouraging you to stay inspired, keep spreading kindness, and never stop learning. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.